Hello YouTube, this is the Stupendous Wave here today, and this video is another top 5 list, and this one is on my top 5 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. So yes, I'm only using the MCU movies. For example, movies like Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man, all the X-Men movies, they're all not eligible. This is just Marvel cinematic movies that are just allowed on this list, like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the Avengers, things like that. So anyway, now that I got that out of the way, let's start off with number 5. So number 5 for me is Thor: The Dark World. Now I really like this movie. The only parts of this movie that lack to me are the bad guy, and there is a real emotional note in this movie that really kind of fell flat to me. Some characters lose someone that's extremely important to them, and it just kind of fell flat. It wasn't really as big of an impact as it should have been. Other than that, the action was amazing, and the best part of this movie for me, hands down, was Loki. I mean, Malekith and Curse were kind of the villains in this movie, but no, who are we kidding? Loki is the main guy, even though he's more of an anti-hero than a villain. He really brings that up, that villainous sense up in this film. If without Loki, it really would have lacked in the villain department, but since we got basically 3 villains or 2 villains and an anti-hero, it more than made up for maybe the little bit lackluster villains that was Malekith and Curse. So yes, I really love this movie. I love that Thor was Thor the whole time, and that he wasn't just a regular guy. I liked that there was more Asgard in this movie, more of a relationship that we got to see between Thor and Loki, and that's really where this movie shines for me. So at number 4, we have the original Iron Man 2008. This movie put Robert Downey Jr. back on the map. It was his comeback movie, and he was brilliant in it. I really liked him in this, and he instantly became iconic after he appeared on screen. In the first 10 minutes of this movie, you really got to see how great it was going to be, and you could tell that you were in for something special. Just the wit that Tony Stark has and his sarcasm, and I really enjoyed him. Another part of this movie that I really enjoyed, probably the highlight, was watching these suits be constructed and designed, with Tony Stark testing them out and not being as cautious as he should be, getting hurt a couple of times, not seriously hurt, but he slammed his head against the wall pretty hard. Just really being cocky and arrogant about his skills, taking things too quickly, but still going somewhere, still progressing. I really love to see all the suits that got made, especially the Mark 1. The Mark 1 build is probably my favorite. The Mark 1 is one of my favorite Iron Man suits, so a very great movie altogether. At number 3, we have Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I know people probably expected this movie to be 2 or number 1, but for me, it is number 3. I really like this movie. Again, the villain was a little bit lackluster, and for those of you that watched Jeremy Jahns, I really agree with him when he said that we kind of feel like that we were watching number 2. We weren't getting Thanos. Thanos was in there for a brief cameo, but with Ronan, I really kind of felt like I was watching a henchman. A pretty cool henchman, but nonetheless a henchman. But as for the Guardians themselves, amazing. My favorite Guardian is Rocket, which is probably everyone else's, but still, Rocket Raccoon was my favorite Guardian. Bradley Cooper's voice was excellent. Chris Pratt, really liked him in the role. I liked him when he was in Parks and Recreation, but this is really what has cemented him as an actor to look out for. And Zoe Saldana, in my opinion, is probably the weakest of the Guardians that we saw, but still good. She didn't do anything wrong. She just didn't hit me the most as others. I really like the emotional pull in this movie and the little undertones of backstories, and not real. I liked that it didn't have to show us all these characters' backstories, that it just kind of gave us little hints and nods to their backstories, and we just saw the conception of the Guardians themselves. So at number 2, we have the Avengers. Now I know people might be a little bit upset about this, but the Avengers is a great movie. It married all of these great superhero franchises together into one super franchise. It brought Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Thor all together into one great big movie. And I love the relationships between these people, and that they actually fought. They didn't get along. They weren't buddy-buddy at first. The relationship between Captain America and Iron Man especially is what I found to be the most interesting. Very, very awesome. All the other characters were great. Even characters like Black Widow, who I expected almost nothing from, shined in this movie. So, very great movie. Everyone else thinks so as well. So, that is my number 2 spot. For number 1, we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, this might come as a shock to some people, but this is my favorite Marvel movie. I love that we saw into the eyes of Steve Rogers, probably his ability not to change when hardship has approached him, that he doesn't agree with Nick Fury and his means of protecting the Earth. They have different views. He's more of a freedom, which he should be. And I like that Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. ultimately pays for them dabbling in things that they probably shouldn't be, and that Captain America doesn't change, and that he's all for freedom. And I also love the Winter Soldier in this movie, just an amazing fighter, and I think this is the best action that we've seen in a Marvel movie thus far. The Bucky surprise, I'm a comic book reader, so I already knew, but as for the people that I went to the theater with, they were all surprised. A lot of people enjoyed the twist. I love all the action scenes. I love that we see into Captain America's world. We see that he's adjusting, but things are still a little bit different, and how he differs from the rest of the world, and how things have really changed, and that he sticks to his guns, he sticks to his morals, and he refuses to change and to do things that he thinks may be morally wrong or morally questionable. So that is why Captain America: The Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel cinematic movie to date. Now, I have a pretty good feeling Age of Ultron could dethrone The Winter Soldier, but we'll just have to see. Thank you so much for watching. Leave in the comments, what is your guys' favorite Marvel movie? Give me your top 5. Give me your top 10. There's 10 movies out, so go ahead and do that. What's your favorite superhero movie ever in general? Don't forget to subscribe. I'm having when I get 50 subscribers, I will be doing a full figure collection video showcasing all of my Marvel Universe figures, all of my dinosaurs, all of my Godzillas. So yes, be sure to subscribe to that. I really think you guys would like that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.